What's going on, guys? Salute to everybody that's tuning in. I'm JayeDeBlack. In this video, I am going to react to this news story that is starting to go viral about a scammer. They're saying alleged scammer, but this guy was caught running a fake e-commerce scheme where he finessed a bunch of NFL players out of money. Well, he was found deceased in his pool. Now, there are people who have certain theories as to what happened to this guy. Let me tell you something right now. I see a lot of people don't feel bad for what happened. Again, that's, people are going to say, well, that's horrible to hear, but this guy harmed uh, men, especially men who gave him a lot of money. There's one NFL player, a former NFL player in particular, who gave him his savings, all of his savings, $500,000 to this guy. And they said that they saw the money as far as the sites and what was being made. Well, apparently he had faked all of that. And they're saying that he's accused. No, he's done that. And he basically has lost his life now under suspicious circumstances because, again, people are going to have their theories on what happened. This guy chose the life that he chose. He really did. It's very stereotypical. If you listen to what his name is, what's going on. And this is a problem. A lot of these athletes, once they're done playing, they want to invest in something. Now, I saw a comment on Twitter that said that the former GM of the Arizona Cardinals actually introduced Mohamed, that's his name, introduced Mohamed to NFL players. If that's true, then he plays a part into this as well. Again, that was what I saw on X, Twitter, but we're going to get into this. Make sure y'all like this video and hype it.
Of Mohamed Coulibaly, the alleged scammer accused of targeting multiple former NFL players with a fake e-commerce scheme. According to police, the 24-year-old's body was found Friday in the swimming pool of a Harrison Township, New Jersey home by officers making a welfare check after family members called in concerns about his well-being.
That's because his family knew he was probably in danger. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't see a lot of people losing their lives in their swimming pool where it was 100% something of their own making. You just don't. This is very suspicious, but the family wanted a welfare check because they knew he probably was in danger. You know, you're scamming rich men out of money. It never ends well. Now, I don't know why, because again, these crimes are actually not that easy to prosecute. They aren't. It's, unless you're stealing from the government. If you're stealing from other individuals, a lot of times, a lot of people don't get punished for those things. Unfortunately, they don't get punished. You can't steal from the government and not, you're going to get punished for that. But if you're stealing from other men, especially, or women, those crimes are very difficult to prosecute. I've done videos on scammers. It's very difficult to have them locked up and arrested for these types of crimes.
The discovery coming just weeks after a Barron's investigation named Coulibaly as the organizer of a purported scam that sought to swindle professional athletes by selling them stakes in bogus web stores.
The athletes and other investors would buy into these e-commerce shops that seem to be doing really good business based on the sales logs that they were able to review. But we were able to determine that those transactions were manually input by somebody with access to the back end of these stores. And the purpose of this was to make these athletes think that they had these successful investments in these shops.
And that's the thing, man. These guys can't catch a break, these athletes. They trust financial people who steal from them. And then they invest in businesses where the people rob them, right? And I would not be surprised if they were introduced to this guy. I don't think they went looking for him. I think they were introduced, as I told you a little bit earlier. That one makes it even worse. This is why I would only invest in things where I've done my research and taken my time and not just dive into a decision just because everything may look good on the computer. Things can be doctored and manipulated that way. I'd rather do an independent audit before I invest anything into a business I don't know much about.
NFL players telling the outlet they collectively lost more than $1 million in investments made with Coulibaly.
Weeks and then months went by, and Mohamed always had a different excuse for why he wasn't paying them. And finally, they just realized they were potentially being scammed.
Former New York Giants linebacker Tay Crowder says he became a victim after connecting with Coulibaly through a friend.
It was just every day talking about different investments and different things we could possibly get into. I saw him hanging out with a bunch of different guys that I knew, which, made me feel comfortable.
Crowder invested.
That's the thing, man. He's hanging around people that you know. It's always the people that you know that gets these guys into contact with these scammers, which doesn't look good on those people, by the way, because those people have to know what's going on in some way, because they can't be investing in this guy and they haven't made anything. There are people who will get you in on these because they're going to make money from it. So a lot of times you can't even trust mutual people, whether there be, friends you've made along the way in your football career or basketball career, right? You should trust your instincts, your own instincts, and an independent audit.
Did all of his savings, totaling $500,000.
Now that's crazy. All of his savings was put into it. That's insane.
In one of Coulibaly's web stores.
I would log into the store all the time and just see, how it would work and what was going on. I feel like the more I told him about that, as many times I kept logging in, the number started going up.
But his promised payout never came.
I don't want anybody else to get involved in anything like this. And whoever has got involved, I just want to come together and make it right.
And the thing is that, unfortunately, these crimes are very difficult to prosecute. That's why this dude was at his house. I'm assuming that's his house, in his swimming pool. It's very difficult. For some reason, they need to change the laws, right? The only people you can't scam is the government. You can scam everybody else, but you can't scam the government, right? Unless you scamming, old ladies of millions of dollars, that's the only time they're going to arrest you. But if you're, scamming NFL players or other professional athletes, nothing is done. You can't get the money back. They don't prosecute the person. That's what makes this even more sad. And anybody who helped this guy, Mohamed, as far as this scheme, they're just as guilty. They're just as guilty.
This year, Coulibaly had denied to Barron's that he was behind any kind of scam, saying that their reporting was, quote, based on a misunderstanding of the technology and that his investors hadn't received returns from their deals because he himself hadn't received expected funds from a planned acquisition of his venture. So far, no criminal charges have been filed connected to the alleged scheme, but Coulibaly's accusers are now hoping they can finally get some long-awaited resolution.
No charges filed. This is why scammers are able to... This is why it's easy for people to be scammers. Because if you're scamming other individuals, you're not going to get arrested. You're not going to get charged or anything. So when you look at this guy and what happened to him, Mohamed, he's 24 years old. This guy's running companies at 24 years old. Already red flags. Already red flags. None of these guys' money should have ever, they should have looked at this guy and said, I'm not giving him nothing. He gives scammer energy. Gives scammer energy. I don't know if maybe he was born and raised in this country or grew up here. This guy is clearly from another continent. And we all know what goes on, especially over in the continent, what goes on with those people as far as scamming. Scamming is a lifestyle. And they know that, again, it's very difficult for police officers to prosecute it. That's why it's easy for these people to do this. Now, let's look at what happened to him. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Do you think that he died a natural death, or did somebody get to him? Let me know in the comment section, y'all. Follow me on all the social media, and I'll see y'all next one.